I think that since we did all those Gemaras, though, did people find that it was helpful? I mean, a lot of it was repeated. Yeah, right. Um, okay, so let's start. Oh, here's Rabbi Ladies.
Hi.
Hi.
Let me just get myself here. Okay. Recording.
I was just going to start learning the tour.
Okay. Well, Drew's a good guy. Okay. So my question is, okay, what's the title of this of Tzadichet in your own words, not the words that here. What would you say? A couple of words. Four words, maybe 5 words. Noam, come on, what do you have?
Oh, my brain's just warming up.
Your brain's forming. Okay, Eitan, what do you have?
What's forbidden in 60? Maybe.
What's forbidding in 60? All right. That's the whole thing? Okay.
Rava's Memra.
Rava's Memra, not bad, not bad.
Aftermath.
The name of a TV show. TV show. There used to be a TV show before your parents even thought about you, maybe even thought about each other, called Whom Do You Trust? Who do you trust? Sometimes I would say, whom do you trust? So that's 4 words. 5, because you can change it to, that's the first part. Second part is, what do you trust? So it's the whom and the what. So that's what we're dealing with. So let's start. And before we start reading, let's just talk about things just a little bit. Okay, let's just talk. Who do you trust? About kashrut, about the Isur going into the heter. Who can tell us? Who can give us the proper perspective? Come on. Ori, give me a name of somebody. Who would you trust?
Well, someone who can taste it, who is
okay, someone who
reliable.
can taste. So what would that person be? Give me a name.
So it could either be a kafela who's
okay, you say kafela.
Yeah.
Okay, Max, who else do you have besides kafela?
Kohen.
Kohen. You want Kohen eating treif. Is that what you have?
Not exactly. A Kohen eating something that might have truma.
So what you say is a Jew. But a Kohen in that case, but not just a regular. Okay, so the Jew's a problem. I agree with that. Okay, we'll get back to Kohen. That's good. Kohen's helpful. Isaac, you have somebody?
I have 2 things.
Give me one.
Okay, I'll skip the tasting things with your tongue. So then the
No,
there's
what? We're talking about the who.
No, but the who in that case would be a Jew.
Now I understand. We're talking about the who.
Okay. So the who.
What's
the
your
question is, so a kafela.
We heard kafela.
Or sometimes you can also have a goy who's not a kafela.
A goy.
Okay.
A goy. Okay. And you want to say a goy that what?
Is Mesiach lefi tumo.
Okay, well,
sometimes.
So that's actually two separate people. One's a goy, and one's a goy shel Mesiach lefi tumo. Another one is a kafela, who's also a goy, kafela aroma. Okay, fine. Is there anybody else? Is that our conversation? Anybody left?
Yeah, just a regular Jew.
A regular Jew eating treif.
Eating something
You're
where
having him to eat treif.
There's no mamish treif. There's
heter
and maybe a taste.
Well, now you're talking to me about what it is. Okay. I mean, these things are somewhat combined, so I'm being mean on purpose, but I apologize only to a degree. You're still looking for the who. The who and the what, of course. The tour starts with the what. Okay? But actually, to give a better location on the and what the Torah is quoting. Let's look at the Beis Yosef. Okay. Okay. So Ori, read Amar Rabbi Yochanan in the Torah. You know the Torah already in the Beis Yosef.
Yeah, on Aleph, Dine Atarovot to Bitulan, Amar Rabbi Yochanan Kol Isurin Shabbat Torah B'Shishim.
Okay. Did I have the right thing as you have?
Do I have the right thing? I'm on the
You
internet.
have it, I
so
guess.
maybe wrong.
But Torah, but you
Well,
can, yeah,
keep
you're
reading,
right.
keep reading. You gotta read
Prepare,
another
Pete,
couple
Yeah, I'll keep
words.
reading.
Siman, go ahead.
V'samuch yitpaer.
Yeah.
No.
So-
Okay, well,
Sure.
Samach player. But we didn't get that part yet. So that's right, because then that part's missing. But the next, go to the next part. Amar Rava.
Amar Rabba Amur Rabbanan. V'samuch yitpaer Amar Rabba Amur Rabbanan B'taima.
So this is the
Holisha.
what. This is the what. But the what is just there for a moment. But Amar Rava, go ahead, read that. Amar
Amar
Rava.
Rabba Amur Rabbanan B'taima. V'amur Rabbanan B'kfela. V'amur Rabbanan B'shishim.
Right. Hilkach.
Hilkach min b'she'enu mino dehetera. B'taima de'isura.
Betima, semicolon.
Right.
Semicolon.
Min she'enu mino
Well, okay.
dehetera b'taima.
Okay. So just say, what does that mean? Hilkach min b'shenu mino
So
dehetera.
therefore, when it's two different types of food that's allowed to you, you can just taste it.
Okay, Deisura. Next one.
De'isura b'kefela. But if you're not allowed to, then you need a kefela. If it's not food you can taste, then a kefela.
Min.
Min b'mino. Deleka lemeka mataima. But in the case when there's the same kind of food, so that you can't discern the taste. That's also sorry. Then the kefela wouldn't help. Inami min b'she'eno mino de'isura. Deleka kefela
Right.
b'shishim.
Okay. So here I understand there's the whole what here, but this is just the intro. The siyum.
V'siyum amamar katav Rabbeinu b'samuch min shnitarev b'mino deleka lemekam ataima umin b'she'enu mino v'leka kefela b'shishim.
Ella.
Right, so both of those cases you would
Right.
need 60.
Right, you have 60.
It's just that the tour sort of paused in the middle to
Right,
fully
okay, but
explain
we
the
still
kefela.
have here a beginning of the hoops. Okay, so let's look right now in the base, that was the base, Yosef. Let's just talk out loud for a moment. Tell me about the goy, Noam. If we believe it.
Well,
Who
I guess,
believes the goy?
like which of the Rishonim?
Which rabbi believes the goy?
Well,
Which left-winging, tree-hugging rabbi believes in
Rambam.
goyim?
the Rambam.
Yeah, the Rambam. What can I say? Right? Okay, the Rambam. What's the other kind of goy, Max? There's other
Hey,
shot on
you're-
goy. What?
You're saying go stam.
That stam goy is the Rambam.
Yeah. You're saying lefitumo?
Okay, lefitumo, which means what? Just since we're all talking, lefitumo.
Which means they can't know why you're asking.
Yeah, so we're gonna get into that, exact parts, right? Who says that, lefitumo?
The Ron says that you need lefitumo.
Okay. Is there a third possibility besides the permutations within each individual one? Is there a third possibility based on the first two?
The Rosh says you need to be a chef and you need to be Meseach Lefitumo.
Very good, thank you, Isaac. Right, you have to have both. You have to have the belt and the suspenders at the same time. Okay. All right, we can go home. I mean, we just did basic stuff, but there's some stuff, we'll see it inside. So let's take a look inside. Okay. Kosev Rashba. Rashba is the main player here, right? In the Rishonim. You see, he talks about it, he sets it down. The base, the tour likes him and everybody else. But we have it here. Let's look at the base Yosef. Josie, you want to read? Read. Kosev Rashba. In what book? In the Torah Bayit, right?
Right. Sorry, I just had to come off it. כתב הרשב"א אין צריך שיהיה אומן בכך, אלא אפילו סתם בני אדם וכולי. בתורת הבית הערוך,
Yeah.
הביא ראיה מדאמרינן בגמרא, נחולין צדי זין, בשלמה תרומה טעים לכהן, ולא כאמר טעים לכהן כפלה.
Right.
Look-
So we talk about taste. You don't necessarily need a
expert.
kafela, right? Oh,
ועוד מדאמר רבא אמר רבנן בטעמה אמר רבנן בכפלה מדמחלק טעמה כפלה בכפלה.
L'shnayim. He's mechalik l'shnayim.
שמע מינה טעמה הווה טעם הנרגש לכל בני אדם.
Whoa. Whoa. So there, we're going a little bit into the what, but the what defines the who. Because taste is universal. By the way, what kind of taste do we need, Josie?
I mean, in what regard? Like I'm not sure.
Tam on Nirgash.
Yes, it has to be noticeable.
I mean, you have to really notice it.
You have to really notice it.
It's let me say it this way. Maybe in terms of people that we were talking, it's an everyman deal, not a kafela deal. It's an everyman deal. That's Tama Nirgash, I think. Tama Nirgash is a universal quality. Tama Nirgash. Okay, go on.
ולא אמר כפלה ארמה, אלא משום דילמה גוי בעלמא, משום משקר, אבל כפלה לא.
Because we got a problem, right?
So here the question, the problem comes with some trustworthiness. A stam goy might lie to you, but somebody who's an expert would probably not. Lo mera nafshe.
Wait. So let's say Meshakir. Why is the Stam Goy being Meshakir? We don't know yet. Some of the, but let's leave it as a question. Are they saying it just based on, the non-Maimonideans here? Are they saying it just because they have suspicions about Goyim in general? Or is there something else that's actually part of that? Actually, some of you have the answer. What's a possible reason why a goy is meshakir? No, I'm asking now. What's the reason? Why would a goy be meshakir? Let's do the
To mess you up from keeping, to purposely mess you up from following your law.
So that means, the goyim are pernicious. All right, fine. That's one. But let's flip it. There's actually the opposite.
The goy might want to please you. The goy might want to say,
That's
yeah.
right. That's right.
That's
Across the street, Paulie and his family growing up. I was 6. They're putting up the big Christmas tree. It looked like later on Rockefeller Center. Father climbs down the ladder. He said, "Did I put it on straight, Danny?" And I could see it was crooked. And I said, "Sure is." Yeah, what do I care? Yeah. That the star on top is crooked or not. He's not part of the system. So maybe it would be Mashakir. You have to be part of the system. I think that's a moderate one. Or he might want to please. He may want to please you. So therefore, being that kind of outsider to the system, we have problem of trouble. Aval kafela. Keep on reading, Josie.
אבל כפלה לא מראה נפשי, וכיוון שכן אי כפלה הווה אפילו יודע שלמען איסור והתר שואלים אותו, סומכים עליו. ואם מסיח לפי תומו,
Oh, wait,
אפילו
stop there. So what's the reason for the kafela? Shalom meira nafsho. What does that mean?
So basically he wouldn't want to, I mean, literally it's like he wouldn't want to spoil his soul, but really he doesn't want to get a bad reputation.
Yeah, nefesh doesn't have to be so here. They spoil himself, not himself. Right. He's a chef. He's a chef. You can't. He's got that aspect. The
V'ikfela.
no, the mesiach.
I'm sorry, did I skip a line? Okay. V'imesiach lifi tumo, afilu sh'ar b'nei adam nami. So if it's just someone who's talking without knowledge of why you're asking, just within his within the sort of
So that's the proof for what I think. That's proof for what I was saying. Is that he's not like a stam liar, not a stam liar. You can believe a person. It's not like they're just inveterate. What's the term?
Inveterate. Yeah.
Inveterate liars. Just that if he knows more about what's happening and all the rest, then he's not part of your system. Who knows? V'yesh machmirim.
V'yesh machmirim delo samchinan ela akfela uv'masiach lifi tumo v'yesh lechush l'divreihem ad kan lashano.
So how does he pass in the Rashba?
So the Rashba seems to say you want to stick to a kfela or someone who's speaking lifi tumo and not just someone stam who may or may not be aware.
However, but he says the yesh machmirim. So is the yesh machmirim halacha or not halacha?
Not halacha in this case.
Not halacha, but it's good to be careful. You get a lot of that in halacha, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's the base halacha, or how are you going to be careful about it? So we have that.
What from the yesh lachush l'divreihem, you wouldn't think that he's not catching his lot with the Chumrah side?
I didn't catch it. Say it again.
Like the yesh lachush l'divreihem, I would think that he's saying, so we should actually take on this Chumrah.
Yeah, well, depends. Depends
Meaning
who's
you need
hearing.
both criteria.
Depends who's hearing this. Who's hearing this.
It might be like Meikar Dean, he's Meikil, but he does actually, I think B'chumrah is like halacha l'maaseh. That's how I
Okay,
understand.
so that becomes very influential, right? So he says v'yesh lachush, that becomes very instrumental if you want to find favor with the, being the Rashba favor, so to speak. Ori, what are you going to say?
Well, just to clarify, the base halacha here would be Masiach Lefi Tumo Shar B'nei Adam, and the Chumrah is Kfela specifically.
The Chumrah is kafeh. That's interesting. I think I see it as
Oh,
either.
sorry, it's Kfela and
I see it as
Masiach Lefi
either or, and the Chumrah is both.
So what's the Ikar Adin? You're saying Stam Goy, like the Rambam?
No, either or. Either a guy who's Mesiach Lefi Tumo. But
Right.
if you're asking, you have no goyim around who are Mesiach Lefi Tumo, then you ask a kafela. Either one, I think is. I hear what you're saying, but I think it's.
What's the Chumrah? To have a Kafela who's Masiach
Yes.
Lefi Tumo?
Yes,
I see. Okay, both criteria in one person.
right. That's the chumrah.
That's actually how the Chachmas Adam Paskins actually.
Okay. And you should know. That's good. And let's go to the rush. Okay, Eitan, read the rush. Run through the rush.
Rosh Katav Litame Kfela Arma Perush Nachtom Goy Ushmamina Dimutar.
Now, by the way, in your summary, we didn't say it so well because with the first part that he did in the rush was prove that kafela is a separate category than stam goy, right? But then there comes the chumrah there at the end. Okay, I'm sorry. I just should have said that. Continue with the right.
Varosh Katav Litame Kfela Arma Perush Nachtom Goy Ushmamina Dimutar Lismoch Alav Lefitumo Velo Yodi'ihu Shetzarich Lo Lidvar Isor Veheter. So the Rosh wrote according to his reason that a kfela arma'a means a non-Jewish cook. And we should learn from this that it's permitted to rely on a non-Jewish cook when they don't know what you're asking them. And we don't tell them that we need him for matters of Isur ve'heter.
Right. Shetzarech. The tzarech, right? That we don't need him. Say to him, it's very important what you're going to tell us. It's going to be my dinner or not my dinner. The tzarech is really crucial. The whole notion of nachtom will come up again. Is the Rush merely defining kefela in a Hebrew word that we know better, or is nachtom mean something else? So we're going to get back to that. V'zeh shekatav Rabbeinu.
V'zeh shekatav Rabbeinu v'kach katav Adonia v'harosh zal shetzarich shelo yada shesomchim alav v'chulei.
Yeah, that's it. Kolomar.
Kolomar ein mefurash midivrei harosh shehu sover kedivrei hamachmirim ela le'inyan shetzarich sheyehe mesiach lefi tumo aval le'inyan ibai kfela bedavka ein bidvarav hechreya. So when it says that you need when the Rosh says that it needs to be the case that the kfela doesn't know you're relying on him, this is to say that it's not clear in the words of the Rosh that he's saying that he holds according to the machmir position, except that when it comes to Masiach, except for that he thinks that they need to be Masiach lefi tumo. But when it comes to the question of if you need a kfela specifically, he doesn't decide.
Okay, I need a summary of that, a quicker summary.
So
does he hold two, or does he hold either or? What does he hold?
I think he's holding,
according to Beis Yosef,
he's holding either or. If it's going to be a stam goy, it needs to be Mesiach lefi tumo, but he doesn't specify if you need a kfela or not. Okay,
so that's good, right?
Wait, but it's not either or, because he needs Mesiach lefi tumo no matter what.
You're right. I think that's right. So you need basically therefore Mesiach lefi tumo, and then but let's call an expert.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, so what he's really added is this: the expertise refers to what? The kefela, then we just used before kefela to mean that he lo meira lenafshe. He's not going to spoil his reputation. Therefore, we can believe a kefela. But how's kefela used here? Either the same way, because he won't, therefore you have that, or because he's very good on taste. But you don't necessarily need a kefela. Okay, we got that. Tosfos. Okay, Max, Tosfos.
Tosfos kasu ahad amarava samchinan akfela afal gav de goyhu kevan de kfelehu lo meshaker de lo yafsir umanuso adkan.
Okay.
So basic, sort of a similar reason to what we just said.
That's right. What's your little difference? Because you say similar. What's the little difference?
This one is more explicitly about his profession than the other.
Right, Yafsi. Saying not that it's ethics necessarily, right. The chef's ethics, but he doesn't want to lose his work. Okay, Ata. Nira
midivrehem de be'ena mesiach lefi tumo mayri. It seems like that's talking about not necessarily mesiach, or not necessarily. That seems sort of dafka not mesiach lefi tumo, because in order for him to not be mafsid umanuso, he needs to know why you're asking him. V'chein das haran shekasav umida amrinan samchinan akfela mashma de kfela dafka. Ha goy de leise kfela la samchinan alei mishum de goy meshaker.
Wow. Okay. So where are we right now in our choice?
Right now, the Ran is saying dafka kfela.
Yeah, goy's meshaker, and therefore, therefore it says read, read it literally, read the Gemara literally, right? You want a tefela aroma, but in other words, in our syntax, aroma tefela, a goy who is a tefela. That's or right. Well, I'm not sure which way now, which way to say it. In other words, it has to be a kafela. You have to be a kafela.
Right. I guess the goy piece is just because it's the Isura. That's
right. So go on. That's good. Go on.
Aval kol hecha dehave kfela lo maranafshe vekevan demishum de lo maranafshe hu lav davka b'misiach lefi tumo. So the Ran holds davka kfela, but not davka misiach lefi tumo.
Okay. That, in other words, being a kafela alone. So that's very important. It's not a kafela because he's misiach lefi tumo, and you're getting 2 for 1. You're getting 1. You're getting lo mera nafshe. It's very good. It's keeping the binary option just there, right? Okay, then. Wait. Does he allow for a goy? Maybe I'm reading wrong.
I think he allows for a kfela.
Right, but I mean a goy, a stam goy. Excuse me.
Oh, it seems like no to me. Yeah.
Yeah, no, just the kfela.
Yeah.
Yeah. In other words, there's no option. Excuse me for using that word. You need a kafela. The kafela has professional ethics, or he doesn't want to lose his parnasa, however you want to say that. But nonetheless, the kafela holds himself to that stuff. And, a kafela has to be a goy because, as he said, because he's tasting, because he's eating the food. We'll talk about that later too, but he's eating the food. And he's in other words, read the Gemara the way it's supposed to be read, or just study the words on the page. Okay, I'm sorry. Go on.
Yeah. וכמו שכתב רש"י כאן, דכל שכן דלא מרא נפשי, אם הוא יודע שיש כפדה בדבר, ובישראל לא שנה כפלה ולא שנה לאו כפלה, סמכינן עליה. So the first part is Rashi actually thinks that it's actually better for the kfela to know, because then if he knows that you care, all the more so is not going to lie.
I called you because you're a fantastic chef.
Yeah.
Tell me the truth. Well, I'm the chef. Sorry, I'm tasting the pork juice. The chazer schmelz. We don't say pork juice. I've heard this a lot from the chef. Chazer schmelz is the preferred term. I can taste the chazer schmelz. Okay.
So Uvisral Loshna Kfela Loshna La Kfela Samchinan Ale Vahainu de Amrinan Begamara Taim Le Kohen Alma Bechol Kohen Sagi Afal Gav de Lav Kfela Ad Kan Lashono. But when it comes to a Jew tasting something, there's never a necessity for a Kfela. We can otherwise when it suggests the Kohen in the Truma case, it would have said Kohen Kfela if it meant
because with the Jew we have no we have no chashash.
Right.
We're not choshed. Maybe that's a better term. We're not choshed. So we don't need this corrective mechanism of nasiach lefi tumo, or he's a kafela. Jew is a yid. And since already taste is a margishim as tam nirgash, anybody could be good. Just any Jew would work. Okay.
Could I ask a question? I'm
Sure,
just not
please.
sure I'm totally understanding whether or how Rashi is weighing in on the question of a non-Jew. Is he?
Go ahead, Max. Give him an answer.
Let me jump in there, actually.
Okay.
If you have the girsa that you should have is Hagaot v'He'arot, and there's a gimel there, and he explains that actually Rashi does not say this. The Ran is saying it's not like Rashi, but rather it is that it's better to have him know. that you're tax that it's
Right. No,
and it's
no, you're
really
exactly
only
right.
it's sort of
Right.
misleadingly written,
Right.
and it's
Thank
only
you.
the Ron who holds this
Right.
opinion.
Thank you. This is the Ron's piece. Thank you. This is the Ron's piece. Rashi, we're going to have enough time with him. but you're
Rashi seems
exactly
to
right.
not say that.
No, so we're not right. So it's the Ron. Okay, Max, summarize the Ron. Thank you, Reb Nachum. Max, summarize the Ron.
You need a kfela, but it doesn't have to be Mesiach Vitumo.
It doesn't have, in fact, it doesn't
Maybe it should.
imply.
Yeah.
It's nothing to, what?
It shouldn't be. It
Maybe
shouldn't
it
In
be.
shouldn't.
fact,
Right.
it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
You yourself said that.
Yeah.
It's better that he knows.
Yeah.
So it's better that he knows. So it's really two opposite personalities.
Wait,
The
so I just
Stam
want to make sure.
Goy- Stam Goy is Mesiach Vituma, but he doesn't want the Stam Goy. But you know, he's a character in the shadows that has now been thrown out. We need somebody who's serious, who knows what he's doing, and has some stake in it. You know, his stake is professional reputation. I'm sorry, Noam, what do you got?
No. So I just want to make sure I'm understanding. So you're Rav Nachum, you're saying that the Ran is agreeing with Rashi.
No. Rashi holds.
So what are you?
Rashi holds that you need Mesiach Lefi Tumo, and he quotes the Rashi in Fulin Daf Tzadichet, the words Divra Matchil L'Taimeh, and there Rashi says it needs to be Mesiach Lefi Tumo, and the Ran is saying no, Dafka, I prefer him not to be Mesiach Lefi Tumo. I want a kefela, and I want him to know what's going on, and then he'll be more careful, and he'll give me a good answer.
Good. Okay, so we have that now with the Rambam, which we've kind of said, but it's worth reading the Rambam, not only because it's the Rambam and paying him due cover, just the language is very good. So Isaac, would you read me Divrei Rambam?
מדברי הרמב"ם נראה על כל גוי סומכין, אף על גב שאינו כפלה, שכתב בפרק ט"ו מהלכות מאכלות אסורות, ואם היה בשר בחלב, או יהיה נסך וכולי. Okay, so from the Rambam, we understand that you can actually rely on any goy, even if he's not a kefela, because it says in Hilchot Ma'achalot Asurot.
Finish the sentence. Toim.
תואם אותם הגוי, וסומכין על פיו, אם אמר אין בו טעם, או שאמר יש בו טעם, ומטעם רע הוא, והרי פגמו הכל מותר.
You know, what do you think about the fact that what's the Rambam doing that he says this so almost repetitively? He doesn't just L'Chim al Goy. He kind of smashes it in.
Well, I wonder if possibly what they're saying, what he's trying to do is to make sure that you can't sit here and go, but he didn't list the following possibility of a thing a goy could say. So therefore, in that case, you don't trust him. Like he's covering all of his bases, maybe.
Right. Okay, that's good. I didn't think of that. That's good. Anybody else? I think that's good. I mean, I was say something similar, but well, anyway, different. That yeah, he's a Rosh Yeshiva at Yashrut, a term that we should use every so often, right? This is universal. God, we can trust people. There's people. What's wrong? The fact that in Eastern Europe and in America, Yeshiva circles, the word Stam Goy usually is a pejorative, is not a pejorative in halacha. It means a guy, that's all. Doesn't mean you can't trust him. Rambam says you can trust. But the Rambam says a guy, and he doesn't say anything about, what does he leave out on purpose? What does he leave out? The idea of
and Mesiach Lefi Tumo.
the kefela, of course he leaves out.
Oh, sorry, he says
said
explicitly.
Right. And Mesiach Lefi Tumo, right? So actually, he's somewhere where nobody has been before in what we've seen. We've seen Goy Mesiach Lefi Tumo, and we've seen kefela, and we've seen kefela Mesiach Lefi Tumo, but we haven't seen Stam Goy. So I want to say I really like how the Beis Yosef did this, because literally it's like a good punch in the guts in terms of what's saying. How about a goy? How about a stam goy? Okay, I'm getting off my high horse. Okay, okay. So where are we now? Keep on reading.
Okay.
The
I didn't
Sochim
actually
al
finish.
Piv. The Sochim al Piv. I'm sorry. No, you did already.
No, I didn't finish the sentence properly. והרי פגמו הכל מוטל, והוא שלא
Right. So
יצטרכו
Tom,
להשגיח,
like
כמו שאמרנו.
the Tom Pagam.
Yeah, so basically if they say it's gross, and it's something that's not going to make it taste better in the end, then of course it's mutar. הרי שלא הזכיר נחתום אלא גוי סתם, ונראה שהוא סובר דכפלה דכאמר תלמודה לאו דווקא, אלא, sorry, have to negotiate cat.
Ella. That's two
Okay.
words.
Ella,
Orcha.
לאו דווקא אלא אורחה דמילתא,
Nakat.
nakat. Oh, shekol.
No. Stop there for a moment.
Okay. So now we're back to the Beit Yosef, being the Beit Yosef. So he didn't mention
He being the Rambam.
rather a stam goy, and it seems that he thinks that when the Gemara says a kafela, it doesn't mean like a literal kafela, but rather just sort of a general sense of the term, like, I don't know, someone who knows what food tastes like.
No, somebody who cooks,
Yeah.
or somebody who's something like that. Everyone cooks,
Yeah.
Chef for the day or something. But not even a chef. You cook. Cook is the better term. Right. This is really good. That's very good. Okay. So therefore, the term kafela used, he totally thoroughly, he defends the Rambam by neutering the term kafela, just to mean whoever's cooking. No, I want to say it better. Who's ever cooking that day, that's the cook. Not that he's a cook. He's cooking. And that's it.
Well, it doesn't even say he has to be cooking, because the second half of the sentence that you wouldn't let me read is Oshe kol haba lit'om karoi kafela.
Yeah, very good.
Like anybody who tastes
Okay,
something is a kafela.
Yeah, good.
This is like, everyone has an opinion.
Right. Very good.
So
we
to
get
sum
good.
up, you might
Keep on
say
going.
kafela is a taster and not a cook. Just someone who's
Excellent. Thank you. So they put the chef hat, they put on the taster. Okay, very good. I like that. Thank you. Thank you both. Let's go on. To Komar Talmuda.
No, we're at
No, you did.
say
No, but Lav Daf Elcha, but we didn't translate that. Ella Urcha de Milta Nakat.
Yeah, so we said it's just sort of like a standard.
The way things happen.
Yeah, it's the way
That's
things
what it really
happen.
means.
Is
That's
what
the way
he's
it happens.
using.
Somebody's
Or
cooking, or
it's
somebody
that anybody
not
who's
cooking, somebody eats. It's all one part of the same thing. Oh, shakaba litom.
or that anybody who
I'm
tastes
sorry,
the food is called a kafela.
Good. Al shem ma.
על שם מה הוא עושה באותה שעה שהתאימה מלאכת נחתום היא ונראה עוד
No, stop there.
Sorry.
What's the point there? Hatima melechet nachtom hi.
Because at that point in time, he's doing a chef's work.
Right.
This is like when you go to those like pioneer farms.
Taste this sauce. And then as he picks up the ladle and tastes the sauce, right, he is doing a chef's activity. Oh, I love this. I love this Beis Yosef. Venira.
ונראה עוד שאינו מצריך שיהא מסיח לפי תומו, דאם כן היה לו לכתוב כן בפירוש. Okay,
Right.
and it doesn't have to be mesiach lefi tumo, because otherwise he would have had to say so in his commentary.
Right.
Ve'od delishna desomchin al piv mashma she'af al pi shehu yodea she'isur talui b'davar somchin alav. So therefore we can take the Rambam's meaning to be that even if this goy knows that we're relying on him for issues of Isur and Heter, you can still rely on him.
So he doesn't go as far as to say B'dafka he should know, which we said about the professional kafela, because the professional kafela, the dafka, you should know, right? That's important. But here he's a cook, not cook. He's a regular person doing a cook's activity at that moment. Nearly.
ונראה לי שמאחר שהרמב"ם מקל בדבר, יש לסמוך על סברת התוספות והרשב"א והר"ן, דלמה צורכי בכפלה שיהא מסיח לפי תומו, ונוכרי דלאו כפלה סמכין הרמב"ם והרשב"א דשארו בהראש לאשכחן. Oh, sorry, I'm going to stop there and then.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so it seems to me that since the Rambam is Makel on this, we should be able to rely on the opinion of the Tosafot, the Rashba, and the Ron, that you don't necessarily need a chef to be speaking Mesiach Lefitufumo. And in the case of like Stam Goy, that's not a chef, we rely on the Rambam and the Rashba, who allow such a thing. והראש לאש כחן דפלג, ומיהו נראה דצריך שיהיה מסיח לפי תומו, כיוון דלאו כפלחו. And we don't actually find that the Rosh disagrees on this, because it seems like he needs the Stam Goy to be speaking.
No. When it says umihu, what does umihu
Really?
refer to?
Oh, okay. So umihu, like, wait, so
That's just like a conclusion. After all discussion, even though I said we're somech on the Rambam, seems to me that what it means is that we that we still keep in the notion of Mesiach Lefitumo. In other words, the Beis Yosef brings the Rambam. As I said, the Rambam is astounding, but he doesn't take the Rambam the whole way. And he says to you, you know, what he just said before, a couple of lines before, and you read that, you know, he says, you know, the Rambam means we're not going to the extreme and saying we need double, double and all that sort of stuff. But you know what? I still think Mesiach Lefitumo is a pretty good thing. Okay, so we got that there. Now, let's go to Perish Rashi. Okay, Perish Rashi. Okay. Yeah, Kali, if you want to try this.
I can take a stab at it.
No, shoot it down.
The Pirush Rashi had some Tina and Akafela, Davka the Ika Shishim, the Kule ad the Itve Shishim Sharim. Akhan Mashma Mima She Piresh, Ahad Defo Asurin Shibatora Bashishim, the Kadav Alav Haran.
And you know what? It's really not important. It's a little bit of a drasha thing. Go down the page to where in the middle it says Ella Mashma. That's the best. That was how he reads Rashi. Ella Mashma to some chinan at'ima didei. It's about 8 lines down. What?
Ella Mashma de Samchinan Ta'ima Dide Afilu de Pakot Beshishim Ella Hihadalo Efshar le Micham Atama Kugon She Nitarev Im Amino Levad or Im Mino She'ino Mino Dolo Efshar le Micham Atama Nebne Amino.
Wait a second, I'm lost. We're in the same place? I mean, my fault. Did you read down where it says Elamashma the Samchina Ta'ima Dide? You said that, right?
Right. Oh, did I go to the next page instead of the
Afil Pachos? I don't know which page you got. Afil Pachos.
Meshishim the Sama Amrinan Bechol HaTalmud דכל איסורין שבתורה בשישים, ואין צריך לחזור אחר דבר אחר,
And what's the
להתירו.
davar acher here? If you have shishim, you don't have to go after a davar acher. What's the davar
The
acher?
kefela.
Kefela, good. Lahatiro, you make a mutter. You know, it's already mutter. Kishiyesh bo shishim. V'chein mashma, go on.
Became mashma la'ayel the amar rabba, amor rabbanan betama, the amor rabbanan b'shishim, v'fule mashma delo azkir the shishim ela hecha delika the mecham atama. So they
Wow.
didn't mention shishim, except for a place where you cannot taste it.
Yeah.
Val hecha deika the mecham atama lo b'chinan shishim.
Oh, so wow. What's this telling us? Caleb.
But in the place where you can taste it, you do not need shishim, so you can have it less than that.
So what's tell me the relationship between Tom and Shishim? Based on this, what does he hold about the relationship between? This is like a big deal here. But now we get one really good opinion. What's the relationship between Tom and Shishim?
That if you cannot taste it in the food, then you do not need shishim to cancel out the taste.
I know, but give me a hierarchy.
I think Stan, like we would say that shishim is the general rule. If we're not able to taste it, in that particular situation, then we would need a kefela. But if we are able to taste it and it doesn't have the taste, then we do not need shishim.
Yeah, you just expressed the contradiction. You said it both ways. You said Shishim is primary, and then you said Tom is primary. You catch what I'm saying? So anybody else want to weigh in on this? Yeah, sorry.
I think Tom is essentially more primary. If there's no taste, you don't even need shishim. So in that regard, taste is really the main thing. But if you have 60, I don't think you even enter into the world of taste. So it sort of depends on the case.
Wait. So you made a bold statement, and then you said whatever.
Well, I feel like I'm
Then you
reading
said
both.
whatever. I mean, what do you whatever?
The first thing he says, yeah, that we would rely on taste even if we have less than 60. So I don't know. I think
Right.
taste is
No, it
still
depends on the
So-
much
person.
more Mako in that case.
But
Depends on the person. Like some people, like the Rambam is going to say that you have to have someone taste it unless it's impossible. But then Rabbeinu Yonah is going to be like, nah, if you have 60, like even if you have a kefela right there, you don't have to have it tasted. So it's like, I think, like,
You see?
Okay, so this is what I want to add
you-
about what I've been thinking. This is what I've been thinking. I'm sorry, who am I interrupting? Isaac, did I interrupt you? I apologize.
no, it's okay. Don't worry about it.
We got here, two ways of doing things. It's clear, by the way, that Tom, let's go back to what was said right here, that Tom seems to be first deal, in terms of how everything got rolling. But then you have the new way of doing things. You have the shishim, and once you have the shishim, you don't need the Tom. It's like a replacement theory. But I don't want to see so much as replacement theory, although sometimes I do. And that's the thing I said in the very first year we did, is that there's a whole move generally in parts of halacha to go from empirical to go to something which seems to be more objective, or subjective empirical, from subjective empirical to something that sounds more objective. And that's why my example always is that those who take their stopwatch, not stopwatch, a watch with the second hand, to see how if the tekiah chauffeur, if the tekiah is long enough, do that. They never had that before. But I think we have to realize that while Tom begins it all, and then Shishim, what's the difference? It's like two ways of doing things. So Shishim is universal and practical. It's very, you have it there. There's Shishim. You can always use Shishim. It's practical. You can do it. But Tom sometimes does intrude. And therefore, even though you have Shishim and the Tom is there, well, the Tom, which is this empirical, I would call it maybe another word than empirical. Tom seems to be reality. I got a better way of saying it. Tom is reality, which is really hard to get your hands on. You ever notice that? Very hard to get your hands around reality. And Shishim is, I would say, a term not used here. I don't know why no one uses it here. Or maybe someone uses it, Nachum, you'll tell me. 60 is basically a chazaka. We know that if there is 60, that's the way it works. And chazakas work, but what's the one thing that can bring a chazaka down? Any chazaka. If you want to look up, I haven't looked it up, but I'm sure Encyclopedia Talmudic has 60 pages or so, maybe more, on chazaka. Chazaka is everywhere, time and marriages. Anyway, chazaka is who gets to do Mafter Yonah in your shul? So you have that guy with the creaky voice does Mafter Yonah every year because he has a chazaka, right? So, but what's the one thing that dissolves a chazaka? In all cases, reality. In this case, Tom. It's a chazaka. We got 60. We have a chazaka that there's no Tom. Okay, very good. Then the kapela tastes it, Stam Goy tastes it, and say, "Boy, I love the Chazer Schmaltz." Chazaka's gone. Chazaka's dissolved. Anyway, there's a lot of ways of playing with these ideas, but I think usefulness is there. I will say just again, Samach is universal. It's seemingly objective. It's very practical, but not all cases. Not all cases. If you don't know how large something is, then you have a problem, right? You don't know how large, and you want to have Shishin Kenegdo, you don't know, but a lot of ways it works, and it's basically a very good chazaka. But Tom is, what's really the deal, the real deal. All right, that's my, what do you got, Ori?
I think also it's explaining from a practical standpoint, when you come to a case, the way it looks like here in Rashi is you would start with Shishim, but you might get stuck and need to check. Then you'd bring in Ikfela if there's some reason that you're not sure about 60. But 60 is a good, like you were saying, a practical tool that you would generally use, at least in that level of halacha.
I'm not against that too. In other words, it's in that sense, yeah, it depends where you're at, depends what you're doing at that particular moment, and how that works. The impractical one, the circumstance of wearing a belt and suspenders is having both a kafela and 60. And that's the shita here, right? To having kafela and 60. That's really a very, but in my mind, it's hard for me. I understand why people would do it, but it strikes me. But I don't think we have that. we have kafela. No, who says that?
No, Rashi says kafela in
Rashi.
60, doesn't he?
Yeah, but what happens if you don't have one and you have the other? What does Rashi say?
Well, there's this line that we just saw, the Heicha di'ika lameka matama lo matzrichinan shishim. That's the Rosh on Rashi.
Right.
Maybe that's not Rashi himself.
Right. That's true. Okay, so I will leave that as a question right now. I have my own. I've said enough. I have some more thoughts about it, but let's see if it comes up more directly here. V'chein dat Tosfos, Kalev, you've been reading V'chein dat Tosfos. Adkan. V'nira
Adkan.
me'dvarov.
ונראה בדבריו שכתב שם עוד דחה אמר דאם יש בו 60 אין צריך לחזור אחר דבר אחר
Which is the Kfera.
להתירו.
Right.
היינו לומר דמסתמה סמכינן דלא יהב תמה יותר מ-60 האם טעמו והשכח בטעמה אפילו יש לו 100 או יותר אסור. דטעמה לא בטל.
Right. Okay. I like the word samchinan. Samchinan really, we use that for kapelas. Samchinan al kapela, samchinan al goy, samchinan al. It's a matter of who do you trust? Trust is a smichus. You're relying on something. So even shishim, for all you scientific minds, even objective minds, even 60 is a matter of trust. But if the reality comes different, then you got to get rid of the 60. Okay. So this, this notion of trust, the notion of objective and universal, and the notion of more empirical reality, these keep on playing against each other. Okay, I've said enough, and let's go to the. And I'm going to ask Joel. Are you still there? Yeah,
I just got here.
You just got here. Well, we had a party now. Masha Amar Rabbeinu b'Shem HaRamban.
Okay, we're in the Beit Yosef then. I can tell you that. But where are we in the? Someone tell me. Oh, here we go. Masha Kanu Rabbeinu b'Shem HaRamban Zal came dat.
Okay, wait. So first quote let's go look at the tour on the Ramban, because I didn't read it.
Rambam Chilek. That point in the tour.
Yeah.
Rambam Chilek. Heicha shemakrim hayisur.
Wait, what does it mean, chilek? Translate that.
Here he distinguishes.
No, he makes a distinction. It's the same sort of thing, but it's not.
Okay.
Okay. Heicha
shemakirin hayisur v'lo nitareb mimeno ela tziro v'tamo. Right. So first, when you recognize, you can see the isur. It's still a recognizable piece. And the only thing that comes in is its let's say it's juices or something like that, and its flavor. Kivan shemidadin lo hayalanu l'sha'er ela b'tamo, right? And so from the strict rule, we would only measure based on its ta'am, right? In other words, you drop a piece of pork in your soup, and all you'd really have to measure how much pork flavor came out of the pork, right? Where you can recognize it and throw out the actual piece. You throw out the piece, and if you actually could measure how much pork went into it, that's all you'd have to be concerned with, is what he's saying here.
Ela
she'ein anu yodim kamahu, right? But we don't actually know how much it is. So in that, samchina kfela afal pi she'ein shishim keneged gufa isur, right? There we can ask the non-Jew, can you taste it? And we don't know if there's 60, right? Or maybe we know there isn't 60 even, right? But as against what the amount of piece of pork we dropped in our soup. Nonetheless, we can rely on him to tell us if it tastes like pork or not.
Nice.
But let's say the piece of pork falls in and it is completely mixed in and dissolved, right? And then we actually need 60 against the entire piece. Then we follow kind of the Rashi idea, and then we don't rely on the kafela if you have a 50-to-1 ratio or 40-to-1 ratio. Aval b'shishim miha share. But once you get to 60, then it's perfectly fine. And ve'ein sarich lechazer achar kfela klal. And then you don't need to go look for a non-Jew to go taste this. You know.
Okay, we know this now from you. That's good. Okay, now the Beis Yosef.
Okay. Umashikatav Rabbeinu b'shem Haramban zal kain dat Rashba. Not surprising. V'Haran, all from the Ramban's kind of school here. V'nirei midivrei Haran. She'afal pi shenitarev v'nimchek sat migufa yisur. Right. So from the Ran, it seems that even if some of that piece of pork gets melted away and mixed into the soup.
And we use the word dissolve.
Dissolved. Okay, that's
I think it's a better word. Okay, fine.
Im ein yodim shiur ma nimcha mimenu samchina kfela afilu bebatzir mishishim. Right. Even if we don't know how much was dissolved into the soup, we still rely on a kfela even if we don't have 60. Right.
You ask any Jew on the streets, what do you do when there's an Easter? You say, well, it's batel b'shishim.
Yeah.
And he says, Daddy, be more skeptical about it. Who do you trust?
You trust a non-Jew at the end of the day.
Well, no, we did. We went through that. But you trust the Tom.
The Tom. Yeah, fair enough. It's okay. We don't know how much dissolved into it. Amine from the piece of pork or the isur. Ki ika kfela. That's when there is a kfela. Ve'amarlan she'ein batam basar samchina alei. Right. And if he says to us, there's no taste of this meat that fell in, we rely on them. Demai de itmeche mine batel b'shishim. Because it must be that whatever was dissolved in it was batel b'shishim.
What does that mean? What's this last part?
It means that the kafela is giving us the reality that the thing was batel batel. We don't know how much. We don't know what the ratio was. It's a fake. And if the taste it must be 60 essentially.
Okay. Then there's a correction here, the next line. But now go midivrei harambam.
Okay. Umidivrei harambam beperak tetvav milchot machalot asarot. Nireh dechol min b'she'enu mino. De'efshar lemekamatama. Lo sharia el aidei kfela. Yeah, right. So he says that anything that's min b'mino, so something where you can taste it, where you're able to rely on someone tasting, is only permissible through a kfela, through the tam of this other person, this non-Jewish person. Iyamar de'it beitama. If the person says, yeah, it tastes like the isur, afagav de'it beit femishishim asur, even if there's like 100, 2,000.
Okay, so now you can just read more. They know what you're saying now.
Right? So the ratio is irrelevant at this point. It's all about time. And we only said 60 when there is an ability to taste. What are the cases?
This is what we were talking about before. This battle between Tom and Shishim. So in the particular situation, so here Tom is primary.
Yes.
And the Shishim is only a replacement.
Mm-hmm.
Or as I said,
an inferior replacement.
Kugon shenitarev. Keep on reading. Kugon.
Yeah, kugon shenitarev imino levad. So like the same flavor. So you don't. Well, we'll say same flavor for the moment. So you don't know. I won't say that definitely. Oh, imino ve'she'eno mino delo sharleme kamatama. Or if it's like a mix of mino and eno mino. There's no ability to taste though. Mino hame urav sham because of there is some of the same flavor that was already in there. Oh, shenitarev im she'eno mino levad ve'ein sham goy letoamo. Right, or just. There's no non-Jew around.
Right.
Shehare katav, davar isur shnitrev b'davar mutar, mim b'she'eno mino, b'noten tam.
Okay, so I think that's enough.
Yeah.
Until we go down, 4 lines down from there. Ubekama yitarev.
Hold on, see if I can find it. Davar sur.
Ubekama yitarev davar ha'asur v'yaveh.
Here we go. Okay. Uvachami yitrev davar hasur v'abed be'otzem miuto.
Could you translate otzem miuto?
In the power of its smallness. So,
yeah.
Yeah. It was a weird phrase, but
and why is it powerful?
because even for a little bit of it, it could,
Right.
could give flavor.
The Chaim Tavara Servia Bade, the Otsum Muto, and it's lost.
It loses
in
its little
that.
power. Yeah, or actually, I would say it loses its power from its miut.
Otsum Muto, that it's small in comparison to the large amount, right? Shiur.
Shiur shenatnu bo chachamim. Yesh davar sheshiuro b'shishim v'yesh shiuro b'mea. So some things are 60, some are 100. V'yesh shiuro b'matayim, and some are 200. Limset lamad shekol isrim shebat Torah shenitarvu b'machal hamutar min b'sheino muno b'noten tam min b'mino b'she'iev shar la'amod al ta'am shiuro b'shishim o b'mea o b'matayim. Chutz miyayin nesech mipnei chumrat avodat zara v'chutz mi tevel sharei afshar litakno. Right. So
how do you matakim tevel?
You take out the truma and the maser and the
Right. Okay. In other words, you do what you're supposed to have done. Right.
Exactly. So ubibnei zeh osrim b'minan b'chol shehen. Right. And therefore, in those cases, in their minans, anything. V'shelo b'minan. I get it. The next line. B'noten tam kishar kol isarim. So. Okay.
Okay. The next couple lines are good. So
here the what gets 100, what gets 60, all this. Here we go. Hatruma, utrumat maser, right? So trumat maser, ve'achala, ve'bikurim, olim be'echad umea. So these are all these things that you separate from your isa, your produce, all that stuff. That's 101. All right, not stuff
Wait. Why would they be 101?
As opposed to 60?
Yeah.
We could say that they're not about Tom. That's at the end of the day, and it's a different.
What is it about?
It's just about is it enough to be significant? That you think of it as
right.
equal.
What do you say, Max?
We're just thinking that also 1 in 100 is also. No, never mind. I was thinking 100 as a. It doesn't work exactly, but when you're calculating taking truma, you're thinking about 100.
Oh,
but I don't know that.
Truma is it's 150, 160, 170, right?
Yeah, that's how it is.
Right.
Okay, so that doesn't work. However, what you said, Joel, about significance, when 60 becomes the base for things which are chulin, it seems pasnished. It seems disrespectful to say these other areas should be 60 also. Mm-hmm. So that's what's being said here. I mean, therefore you have a higher number. But also what's going on here is that even in the area of absolute, numbers and objective and absolute truth, you know what? There are different numbers.
Yeah.
For different things. If we started the shiur, if I was a better teacher, I say, what's subjective? 60 or is Tom subjective? So far, we could say Tom's not subjective because we're talking about Tom on Nirgash, and there's no argument about that here. And 60 is subjective because you know what? We always have 101. We have other numbers.
Mm-hmm.
How about that? Tom becomes the real standard. I'm arguing. Tom's the real standard. We have a chazaka that 60 works. We get involved in the number, but it's not. But there's other things that are involved with that. So it's not always just 60. It could be 101. Shari Suring on.
All right, Shari Suring Shabbat Torah Kulan. Kagon shikatzim remasim v'chela v'dam v'chayatze bahem shiuram b'shishim. So those are all 60. All the other isurim.
Okay, so stop there.
Mm-hmm.
Now go down to where it says Harei Shelo Hiskir Shiur Shishim.
Okay.
That's like another 4 lines down.
Harei Shelo Hiskir Shiur Shishim Klal b'min b'she'enu mino. Did I do that right? V'chein nireh od midavar. So right,
No,
so
no, explain that. Explain that.
yeah, okay, so you notice that the Rambam never mentions the word in min b'she'eno mino, where you're able to taste it. He never mentions 60 once, right? He doesn't mention 60.
Right.
So, v'chein nireh od midavar b'perek tet, and we can see it further. And this is the whole thing for him. Ta'am is primary, right? Gabe, this is this chalev or chalav? Chalav.
This should be chalav.
Yeah, chalav shenafal letoch kedera shel basar. So you have milk that falls into a meat pot. V'nireh shehu mefaresh demai de'amar Rava ina mimim b'she'eno mino de'isura v'leka kfela b'shishim. Right. It seems that what he's explaining, that when Rava in the Gemara, he says, you know, that there's kfela, there's tama, there's shishim. He says that the other possibilities mean she'eno mino. When it's isur and there's no kafela, that would be a shishim case also. Lav deleti lekfela kaman bilachud kamar ela fil hecha diite kaman. Right? It's not just when there's no kafela in front of us, but even when there is one.
So that we reverse.
Dami, right? But it's as if the kafela isn't there, right? Ditima dide ena motsia otana miyadei safek, right? Like, but nonetheless, the kafela wouldn't help us get out of our safek case, right? The kafela is there, but wouldn't be helpful. Kigon, what's the case? Shnita rev min b'mino udvar acher. Like, what is it? Like, maybe it's like you have treifa beef and you have beef soup with some other stuff in it, right? Or something like that. Hilkach misharin lebishishim. There you would measure in 16. But any case when you could use tam as a standard, you could go in shehu min b'she'eno mino. Late le shuryuta ela al yidei kafela. The only permission you have.
What's that word? Shuryuta.
Permission. Share.
Permission.
Yeah.
It's usher.
So you can only use. In other words,
usher.
Yeah, if I mix, you know, I lose some dam in my soup, and there's a non-Jewish cook sitting there in the kitchen, even if I know it's 300 to 1, I don't have that permission. I have to go to the kfela. That's my imatzit leshkoche dishure chachamim lo huskuru elahecha de'efshar. Right?
More dramatically, hecha de'efshar.
Hecha de'efshar. Right? So. So we find that the Shiur Chachamim were only mentioned in case where there's no possibility of the kafela helping us. Even though he doesn't mention the tasting of kafela.
All right, so he mentions it later, right?
Yeah,
okay. But he never says 60, and that's where we are. So the Rambam is the exponent of taste, which we understand as Tam Nirgash. And therefore, it has nothing to do with being a Kohen or a kafela or being a Jew or whatever. You can be a goy. That's the universal thing. And taste is considered to be this universal notion, which is behind our particular form of worship called Isur V'Heter.
Mm-hmm.
When you say, Ori, after my drama here,
I just think it's a help. The words can throw us off. It's not necessarily, you don't have to call taste objective or universal. It's just the most powerful. I mean, even if it is a subjective measure, it still overrules even these quote unquote objective measures, because what we're really saying is that what is the Torah assuring?
It's very good what you're saying. It's good what you're saying, but I'm stuck on Tam and Nirgash.
Right, but Nirgash is what subjective means. Subjective means Nirgash. It's just a word thing. For my brain,
yeah, because you're
very powerful here.
Because you're a postmodern Westerner.
Yeah,
it's not my fault.
And I like philosophy, so I'm thinking subjective isn't necessarily a wishy-washy thing. It's a description of Nirgash.
If you're a philosopher, you got to go like the Rambam. What can I tell you?
Yeah.
Okay, Nachum, what do you got?
Well, just one thing that was bothering me. He's doing some fancy footwork here at the end, and I'm trying, and I wanted to just explain what it is, because it took me a little thinking to figure out what it is. What he's saying is there's essentially a kasha on the Rambam, because when Rava says you can use shishi when there's no goy around. The Rambam says, "Mapitom, go find a goy. You have to use a goy. Goy is the way you do it. What do you mean there's no goy around? So go to the next town. And if you don't find there, go to the next town. So why does Rabbi if there's lane? So what he says,
That's the Yiddish expression. Felt nicht goyim. There are no goyim around.
It's like the joke of the man who comes to New York and they tell him this from Russia. He comes to New York and they tell him this. There's 200,000 Jews here in the city. This is like 100 years ago. 200,000 Jews in the city. He says, wow. And there's 800,000 goyim. He says, really? What do you need so many goyim for?
Okay.
But wait, let me just finish. Let me just finish. That was a joke.
Finish up what you got.
I just wanted to finish up. So how does he answer this kasha? Why does Rava say pay the bashishi if there's no goy? Even if there is no goy, so find one. So he says, when he says Leki Kefela, it's code words. It's like a code word to mean a goy won't be effective in this case. In what case is it? It's where there's min v'mino and min v'eino mino all mixed up together in one big smorgasbord, and then your treifa falls in. So now you can't use a goy.
Very good. You're absolutely right. I was thinking a little bit of that, but that's absolutely right. So if the guy's standing there, the kafela is standing there, excuse me. The kafela is standing there, who needs him?
That's right. That's
you're not
called,
going to help me.
That's
what can
called
you do?
kafela.
As you said, he's useless. He's useless.
Yes.
So he's not there. He's not there. It's like, it's ridiculous. The kafela goes into, walks into nuclear plants, they don't need him there. What is he? He's kafela. It doesn't mean anything. Okay, what time is it now? 10:15, 10:20? What time is it? In
10:18.
10:18, I'm sorry. Okay, so let's take off for 4 minutes and then we got some stuff to do in bed, okay? 4 minutes. Okay, can you hear me? Or I guess not. Yeah. Okay.
I can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay, so we're going to bet. I want to remind ourselves something that we let's see if I can get it right. That we should all know. We'll go back and we'll see it also being referred to a number of times. So the Mishnah of Avodah Zarah, right? Ayin Gimel Amid Aleph says Zehaklau. You'll see it inside again, inside the in the Beis Yosef, etc. Zehaklau nit arev min b'mino oser b'mashahu. Because there's no time, right? Shalom b'mino, but no same time. Okay. And then the Gemara continues on Zehaklau. L'rabos kol isurim shebetorah. Torah. It's a cloud. It's a universal cloud. Rav and Shmuel says, kol isurim shebetorah b'minan b'mashahu. That all the isurim in the Torah, which are min b'minan, which are min b'mino, they become, it's in mashahu that they become tam kikar. It's in just in mashahu that they're totally infective. Shalom b'minan, which is min b'sheno mino, but no same time. Then you have Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish. Kol isurim shebetorah bein b'minan bein shalom b'minan. Reish Lakish says, what are you making this different? Whether it's b'mino or sheno mino, but no same time. Good question. Mean b'mino but no same time. What does that mean? But that's what they say, and we're going to get to that. Except for tevel, yain nesach, and other stuff like that, which is in a different category of kodshim. Rashi paskins like Rav and Shmuel. The mean b'mino ain't batel a few be'elef. Because if you say it's b'mashahu, that also translates into how you're mevatel. And if it's already infected, but it's infected with even a mashahu, that means even an aleph, which is like an infinity number for the rabbis, it's not mevutel. And Rabbeinu Tam paskins like Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish, even min b'mino is batel b'samach that we're going to have to talk about. Okay, so let's get into it, and that's just for a That's part of an introduction. So we have to go straight into it. And the tour basically has most of this. Okay. Okay. In fact, umihu. So let's Max read all of that, which is saying over the tour. Mihu Perat Rabbeinu Tam.
Umihu Piresh Rabbeinu Tam Demin Bimino Kivan She'eno Nosein Botam Min HaTorah Batel Barov Ela
She'eno Nosein Tam comma.
Okay.
So I'll read it again.
Okay. Umihu Piresh Rabbeinu Tam Demin Bimino Kivan She'eno Nosein Botam Min HaTorah Batel Barov.
Right. Big surprise.
So, yeah. Okay. So So when you have mean bemin, whether you can't, there's no taste in order to make to distinguish. On a Torah level, it's batel barov.
And what's the pasuk for that?
Acharei Rabim Latos.
Right. And also might be with Mishrat Anavim.
Right.
They get into that. Ella
shechachamim hitzruchu shishim v'shelo hitzruchu shishim. Period. But on a derabanan level, it's shishim for min b'min, according to Rabbeinu Tam.
Yeah.
V'shelo b'mino aser min haTorah ad shishim, ela she'ein lokin alav ad sheyehe bo kol kach min ha'isor min ha'isor ad sheyehe besoch kol arba beitzim min ha'heter kezayis min ha'isor. Ve'az chayav al kol kezayis uchazayis mimenu.
Good.
When you have be'eno mino, on a deoraisa level, it's shishim, but you don't get lashes for it. Get deoraisa lashes until there is enough in the iser that you've had one kazayis out of 4 beitzim.
Finish up. Is this still
right? And at that point, you're chayav for each kazayis.
You're chayav for each kazayis. What does this mean? Min b'sheno mino eno el derabanan. I have that in the Beis Yosef's quote from the Torah. Is that in the Torah?
You said min bemino eno el drabanan?
Yeah. Min b'she'eno mino.
B'she'eno mino.
You see that in the Beis Yosef? You see it in the Beis Yosef?
Uh-huh.
Josie, what do you got? Josie, I saw you waving.
I'm just, I found it in the Beis Yosef. I thought that, but so do you want me to read it or?
No, I just want to know what that means. Umin b'she'eno mino eno el d'Rabbanan. Min b'she'eno mino eno el d'Rabbanan. That's the quote here. That's Beis Yosef saying that. He's quoting. It sounds like he's quoting the Torah. What does it mean, Joel? What does it mean?
Effectively, it means the same thing as the Torah, because once you have rove of something, it's no longer a mixture of this lesser thing into the greater. It is that thing now, and so unless it's majority, it's not a problem. Deraita is what he's saying.
So wait, you fix mean b'mino when there's still a rove.
When there's not
a rove, but you don't know.
But when there's not when there is a rove, you mean? Right.
There is a rove, and what don't you know? Or what might not be there?
How much of the other thing there is, right? You just know there's a rove.
No, that is talking about that case comes up later.
No, but here, what I'm saying is, it's not considered a mixture anymore. Once you have rove of the isser, it is the isser, and so therefore, and we know the isser is asur d'oraita.
Maybe I got this wrong. I think it refers to shishim.
Yeah, but I think it's mim b'she'eno mino eno el Rabbanan means that mim b'she'eno mino when the isser is less than the heter, so it's not identified with the isser yet. It's not asur deraita, it's only asur derabanan.
Okay, good. You can say that. Okay, good. Now we got it. Okay. All right, let's go on. Okay, so who did I have reading? I'm sorry. Okay. Max, I had you reading?
I'm
Okay.
happy to continue or to pass on.
Okay, Jacob, good to see you. Do you have the place?
Yes.
Read.
So the Beparak Chaf Hey the Sof Shmata Tibat Chalav.
Wait. Oh, I see. The paracol busser, but so Shemata
Kol
pass
Basar.
You got it. Shenaf tipat chalav she.
Shenafla Latocha Ticha. Pasak Rashi Delacha Krabi Yehuda. Damar Mim Bimino Lo Vatil.
Wow. Yeah.
So yeah, at the end of this
And that's
teaching,
what Rashi says. And then
yeah.
Beis Yosef says that Tosfos disagrees with him and brings all sorts of proofs that it's not correct. To let Hilchot Rabbi Yehuda. Again, what's Rabbi Yehuda's psak? Rabbi Yehuda, I mean, what did he say? What's Rabbi Yehuda's whole big deal?
Min Bimino Lo Vatil.
Lo batel. And therefore the helu satro the rab the helu the let I'm sorry, I'm reading just so we can get further for a second.
Okay.
The let hilchata. No, you're going to continue reading a second. The helu the let hilchata Rabbi Yehuda. We don't say that elu batel. B'chein pasak sham haran. Now go on. The perik basra the vodazera.
Beparak Batra Devodazara. Garcinan Rav Shmuel Amrit Harvayu Kol Isurin Sabatora No Bimasahu. So Minan Benotain Tom.
Right.
Okay.
Rabbi
The
Yochanan.
Rabbi Yochanan Reish Lakish Samar Tavayu Bain Bimino Bain Shalo Bimino Benotain Tom Chutz Mitevel V'yayin Nesach.
Pasak harash.
Ufasak Harosh Rabbi Yochanan Reish Lakish. Ve'af al Pisha Rif Pasak Karav Vishmuel Kavar Gatafti Arosh V'aran Chazarbo V'tziv L'takein Da'alacha Rabbi Yochanan Reish Lakish.
Right. The Haran. Right. Both of them say that. Let's talk. Right. Rabbi Shimon Reish Lakish. The same pasak.
V'chein Pasak HaRambam B'parak Tet Vav Hilchot Machlot Asurot Atafti L'sono B'Siman Zeh.
The same pasak.
V'chein Pasak HaRashba not sure what.
Tarat Adam. The same katav.
V'chatav Harivash B'tshuva Siman
Okay. Shekach. And he writes the reverse. Shekach.
Shekach Haskimu Kol Hachronim.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Achronim. So
Yeah.
we got a fight going on here.
Mm-hmm.
The Kasu Aram.
V'chatav Haran B'parak Nasa Nim B'mino Afilu Nitorev Gufo Nidoraita Rova Batil.
Beruba, I would say.
The Ruba. Okay.
No, maybe you're right. Beruba. Is it Roba or Ruba? Let's call the whole thing off. Okay, I don't know. Beruba batel could Omar Rava the Perikata Robas. Omar Rabbanan go on.
Okay. Amar Rabbanan Barshina Hatam B'mina Hani Mili Midoraita. Aval Midorabanan Bain Nitra Niv Lal Bain Ainsham El Plitato Basishim. Could I read on the L?
Mino.
Mino. Okay.
Inami.
Inami Mim Bishinu Mino Basishim. Okay.
Animili.
honey,
Okay,
the
go ahead. Yeah.
what?
Say, read it your way. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm on all Torah, so it has Nihu Kiba Inan Shish Im Bimin Bimino.
Mhm.
Hani Mili Bidvarim Hanivlalim, Val Yavesh Biyavesh, Afilu Midrabanan, Chad Betray Batil, Ad Kan Lisano.
Okay, so what's the conclusion here? You got a conclusion? We have Machlokas, Rashi, and Rabbeinu Tam. Rabbeinu Tam has a lot of people on his side. Rashi says Mino Bimino in a bottle, right? And Tosos says it's bottle. How does that rove? Why is that rove? What's the position? We just talked about rove here. How does that fit in?
Well, we're establishing, if we're talking about Rove, we're talking about Rove in the context of Min Bimri no.
Right.
And so we're establishing that it is Batil.
Right. Good. Good. Okay. What else is here? Is that enough for us right now? Is there anything else here?
I mean, there's
At the end, he says, all this conversation here is on lach balach. He doesn't use that term, but it's lach balach. But yavesh, right?
Yeah.
The beetle is very simple and there's nothing to worry about. Okay, now we'll start getting to something. Masha Amar Od Rabbeinu v'shalo b'mino asr min haTorah shishim beper Gita Nosha Garsinan Amar Rabbi Chaya bar Abba Amar Rabbi Yehoshua ben Levi. Two different opinions of what Rabbi Yehoshua ben Levi said. Two different messengers on that. Kol Yisurim shebeTorah b'shishim Rabbi Asi Amar Rav Asi Amar Rabbi Yehoshua ben Levi, quoting the same man. Okay, so where did that come from? They both learned from the same source. What's Zoroa B'Shela? Ari, you know what Zoroa B'Shela is?
Yeah, it's the leg that a Nazir brings mixed with the rest of it.
Mixed with the rest of the ram, right? Mixed with the rest. And what's the difficulty? The Zora B'Shela goes to who?
It goes to
who gets the Zora B'Shela?
Zar.
By the way, it's a korban shlamim. The korban he brings is a shlamim. Shlamim means everyone gets their fingers on it, right?
Right.
So who gets it? Who gets the Zeroa?
The Nazir also.
No.
Just the coin?
Right. So it's kachim. So the fact that it's kachim, and then it talks about that the Zora B'Shela is cut off or not cut off. Well, at one point it's cut off and it's cooked together with the rest of the aisle. Yeah. And is there a problem here of the kachim infecting the chulin and making it usher?
In that case,
you're not supposed to. The Zora B'Shela doesn't belong to the family. It belongs to the family. It belongs to the Kohanim, the syndicate, the Kohanim. But it's kachim, so it belongs to them. So therefore, it's something that can't be. Therefore, it has a different status. It cooked together, it affects the status of it's usher. Doesn't that affect, cooking it together, doesn't that affect the status of what the status of the aisle negatively? In other words, they say that we learned from this that the ratio of the foreleg? Yeah, the foreleg, the right foreleg of the aisle, that's Zora B'Shela, its relationship to the rest of the aisle is either 60 if you count it with the bones, now which way is it? With the bones and 100 without the bones, or is it the opposite? Which one is it?
I think it's 60 with the bones, right? Because
60 with the bones and 100 without the bones. So therefore, that's, therefore, seemingly we really learn what 60 is and what 100 is. It's not just made up. It's based on a source. Well, in terms of not being made up, we'll talk about later. But seemingly right now, it seems to be a derisive source. Omi alfidin mine, Gemara says there about Tanya. Zehu. It says there that this foreleg, Zehu heter haba michlal iser. This is kachim impacting wrongly on chulin is part of a general isur in terms of isur v'heter, in which you have I say that numbers of either 60 times or 100 times, but this is a heter that bla michlal isur. Then the question is, what is zehu? Is it only this case? Or is it only this case? Limute mai seems to be only this case. Lav, Gemara says, limute ko isurin shebetorah. In other words, Rabbi Shela has nothing to do with it. It's only in this case that Rabbi Shela works to be mutter, but it's not limute, but doesn't include. The Zehu says it was limute ko isurin. Amar Rava lo nisracha el latam. I'm sorry. Amar Rava lo nisracha el latam ki ikar. This is actually telling us the halacha tam ki ikar. The bekachim osir kamashalan the hachi shari. That the hachashari, that in other cases it's mutter. V'ligmar minei. Can't you learn from this Zerah B'Shela regarding all other things? Okay. I want to skip a line here. Okay, yeah, we're sorry. This is where we should pick up. It's a chiddush. Lo gamrinan. I'm missing something in here. Dachim, what part am I missing from the Gemara?
Well, we learned this Gemara together.
I know. That's why I'm embarrassed. Yeah.
Is it the chiddush of it being batal lechatchila?
Ah, right. Aim about Yisrael Chatchila. That becomes the major thing. So even though it's it's in the Torah, but aren't we have a problem with Aim about Yisrael Chatchila? And the answer is so. In this one case, you could be mevatel, but in all other cases you can't be mevatel. Then they ask the question, what about, let's learn the numbers from here. Let's learn the 60 or the hundreds. Ihachi shishinami, lo likmar dechidushu. But maybe the fact that the Zerah B'Shela is an exceptional case. That's what we're looking for. The Zerah B'Shela is an exceptional case, and it's mute everything else. Maybe the numbers don't work. Okay, and Ihachi shishinami lo ligmar, because it's a chidushu. Uparkinan atu anan lakul gamrinan lachumer gamrinan. You think this whole thing was a special heter? It's an isur. It's a chumrah. It's a chumrah because actually rove is basically the basic law. So therefore it's to be derisa beruva bato. Now let's get around this. So katav aran to ha milta kula the gamrina mizrua b'shela asmachta be'almahu. They just used it. To ha mi derisa beruva bato. This is like really important. They talk about the numbers, and we have a 60, and the 60 seems to be a what? Gezeres HaKasuv. Right? If it's true with the Zerah B'Shela in reference to the aisle, that the aisle has 60 times or 100 times the amount of the Zerah B'Shela, and therefore negates and overwhelms the Kudshim part of that. And therefore we learn from that we have a halacha of 60 and 100. According to the Ran, it's totally an asmachta.
Because
it has no diray. I talked in terms of being a chazaka, but by quoting this pasuk here, and this is the pasuk that seems to have the emphasis, it looks to me like it's diraisa, but they say it's not diraisa. Ruba is diraisa.
Because it's min b'mino.
I'm sorry, just give me four words. V'hainu, 6 words. V'hainu tama mishun de bizroa b'shela leika l'migmar. Okay. You can't learn it from Zroa B'Shela. So that puts our whole issue. Sorry for the confusion. The confusion's okay, because that's what took place. We're trying to figure out with this whole battle between 60 and the rest, where 60 comes from. 60 being the amount that we have to do, 60 becoming the functions, I should say functions as a chazaka. Does it have a deraisa status? And the answer is a drabanan. The halacha is correct regarding Zroa B'Shela, but Zroa B'Shela is not there to teach for anything else. I'm sorry, Dachim.
Just saying, why can't they learn from Zroa B'Shela? Because it's min b'mino, actually. And min b'mino is also drabanan.
Right. But you say that long.
Min b'mino is only usher and rov. Min b'mino is batal b'rov. So how can you learn 60 from min b'mino? Because it's the same animal. It's his arm and it's his body. It's the same. It's one animal. So it's min b'mino, and we know the halacha there is rov. So how you're learning 60, which is a din for min b'eno mino.
So we say.
It's an asmachta.
Right. No, but when we say now, so I want to continue with you. So we say now that good. When we say now that min b'mino lo batal afil ba'elef, according to that shita, can't do anything. According to the other shita, it's batal b'shishim. What's being said? Nachum.
No, the one that says batal b'shishim, the shishim is only derabanan.
Derabanan. Right.
So derabanan, you can learn from a pasuk.
Exactly.
You learn from a pasuk. You can't learn a derabanan from a pasuk. You can learn an asmachta. You can learn a derabanan as an asmachta.
So give me the history of 60, anybody, based on this. You've heard enough of this conversation. What's the history of 60? What are you going to say, Max? Try it.
You could say something like Torah L'Moshe Misinai.
They don't say that.
Could
they say it's Drabanan. They say Drabanan. Asmachta is Asmachta. But Asmachta doesn't have. Halacha Moshe Misinai is a deraisa. Halacha
we saw in the Gemara. We saw in the Gemara that it's or the Gemara Rashi, I don't remember. It said the Gemara, I think, Shiur Rabbanan. Like the Rabbanan got up and they established that 60 is batel. I forget exactly the lashon in Aramaic.
Okay, so I would give more of the history. That's exactly the place. Rove, okay, Ori, history.
I was just going to add, they established it as a logical estimation of ta'am in the history of it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's a stand-in for the concept of ta'am.
Right.
It's a reasonable estimation.
So ta'am is really the thing. The when you can't know anything about ta'am, your second your second way of doing things. Sometimes the second way becomes primary just because of circumstance. But in terms of derivation, in terms of status, Tom is it. 60 is a chazaka that it's that you can't taste it anymore. It's actually a chazaka on Tom that you can't taste it anymore. I'm looking at your faces. No. You think I'm right. I know that I'd say that part, but still, why should we buy into it? Well, it's in the Torah. And then you scream about that, just like I'm screaming now. It's in the Torah, right? Zeroa b'Shela. So you get up on Shabbos and you get that drasha, and it has to be 60 because it's Zeroa b'Shela. But actually, it's like the dark secret here. Actually it's an asmachta. That far we haven't gotten. It's an asmachta. It's not a derivation, nor is it a halacha Moshe Sinai. Therefore, it's a chazak of the rabbis. And that's how they did it. Okay, now. No, that doesn't do it. So let's just start this. A couple lines here are important.
Want me to read?
Yes, please.
Feel free to correct me. Okay. Perish Rashi Latam Iker. So we said before that that Rava said he uses it with Tam Iker. We said above, Amar Rava lo nitzracha el Tam Iker. So what is Rashi's?
Bekodshim. That's the important part.
We only needed it for Tam Iker in Kodshim. And Rashi, Perish Rashi, the Latam Iker quote. In other words, that's the Dibra Matchil. Noten Tam Kim Lanu the Aser Bekodshim. So if it gives flavor in Kodshim, then it's Ke'ikr Mamasho Shela Isser. So it gives flavor in Kodshim. It's as though you have the Isser there. I guess, what does it mean? Like if a Kodshim gets into some other food? What does it mean in Bekodshim? If some Kodshim mixes with something food that's not Kodshim, it's Chulin?
I think two different types of kodshim is what.
Or two different types of kodshim. Okay, maybe that's right. It's a better explanation. Okay, and then it'll be aser because maybe one is notar, one is from a different day, and now it's too late. Whatever, something about kodshim. The katav Rashi od mid ka'amar Rava the bekodshim aser. He says in kodshim there's tam ke'ikr is aser. Mashma the late tam ke'ikr b'chulin. That would imply that in other things, like regular meat, chulin, there's no such thing as tam ki'ikr. Ela midrabanan, but it's a rabbinical institution. So that means tam ki'ikr is rabbanan, according to Rashi.
Okay, so in excuse the term, narrative now, the halachic narrative, we have the dismantling of cherished notions. Shishim is rabbanan. The pasuk is an asmachta. Tam ke'ikar, which is fundamental to everything you're learning, is also drabanan.
Which doesn't that essentially mean shishim is drabanan? I mean, even in min b'mino. I mean, even min be'eno mino. Even min be'eno mino, where we're worried about tam, right? It's two different flavors. We're worried about tam. Even there, we're saying it's Rabbanan the 60. And what would the Deraita law be?
It's either Rove or it could be like if for every 4 beitzim you eat a kazait. It could be either of those potentially.
Although we said that's just another kind of Tam Ki'ikr. Yeah, okay, fine. Maybe that's right. It's some other level.
I can't give up totally on Tom.
Well, wait a second. Don't worry. This is Rashi. Yeah. We're about to see a machloket Rashi and Rabbeinu Tam. Rabbeinu Tam holds the Tam Ki'ikr is Deraita. But Rashi holds that the Tam Ki'ikr is Derabanan.
Right.
All right. Kedemefarish for Azil, Dimidoraita beruba batil. Oh, here, Joel, beruba batil. That's the other possibility. V'hachinami shmainan, and so too we hear Rabbi Yochanan da Amar preparing batra. Kol the shetamo v'lo mamasho. It's Tom, but there's no mamish. Ain't looking alav. So you see that it's, why are you not whipped for it? Because it's Rabbanan. You don't get whipped for it because it's Rabbanan. So that's a proof that Rashi's right, says Rashi.
However, there's a counter now. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm just giving a color commentary.
And what about Fahadi Alfina Psachim Mishrat Anavim? That's going to be, by the way, in the end, the ultimate source for Tam Ke'ikr being Deraita. But Rashi is going to say, you're going to ask me a kasha from Mishrat Anavim, where delete Tam Ke'ikr, because that seems to teach us that Tam is Ke'ikr Deraita.
Right. Everyone remember Mishras Anavim? We spent time on that, right? The great Jews. Yeah, I think so.
We spent time on it 3 years ago.
We spent time on it with this Rashi and this Tosfot. That's when we did it.
Sorry.
Okay.
Severely.
So we didn't see it in the Gemara. We saw it in Rashi yet.
Yeah.
But let's remind you, it means that like if some bread, I think, absorbs some flavor of wine, then it's like then the bread counts towards.
It's like it's mamish, yeah.
Like the bread counts towards the shear of the wine.
Well, that's Rashi's. That's the other opinion that for Mishrat Anavim.
There's also that it mixes with water, whatever it is. There seems to be a case there that the Nazir could be chayiv on wine, even though it's not all wine that he's eating. The Svirale, the Amorai Batrai, the Asmakta Ba'almahu. Oh, so that's also an Asmakta Ba'alma. So you can't put me any problems.
Dismantling of
yes.
Deraisa.
This is our nuclear bomb. This is the nuclear option.
Yeah.
We just say, that drasha is a Asmakta Ba'almahu. V'lav meilevhu. It's not a proper learning. V'have lehu nazir v'gulei goyim shnei ktuvim abayim ke'echad.
Because that's the next proof. The next proof is that in Gulei Goyim, what was the problem with the Midian?
No, I think is that if you say it's not, if none of these are asmaktas, then you're back to a different problem, which is that there are two different sources
which
to
are
learn Tam Ke'ikr, and we have a rule from two sources you don't learn.
Haboim Ke'echad.
I'm
sorry, I'm just giving the drama there. But we have a Deraisa proof, and we have two of them. Oh, that's the problem. It's two of them, which means exclusive of anything else. And nowhere else.
Inami, he keeps giving all kinds of terutzim why it's not learnable. Inami geule goyim chidushu. It's some unusual case. Kedamrina hatan, like it says there that it's a chidush. Umishrat, in the case of Mishrat Anavim, the wine. Leheter mitzarif iser. That's coming to teach a totally different din, that the heter can join in with the iser and not the din of Tam Ke'ikr. So that's all Rashi saying that somehow Tam Ke'ikr is the Rabbanan. And let me just finish up here. Vatosfot hikshu al divrei Rashi. They didn't agree with Rashi. But the fichak pirshu shahem b'inyan acher. They explained it some other way. Ve'erichu harbe, it's very long. Ve'inyan zeh, be'perak yidanashe, u'be'perak batra d'avodah zarah. There's two parallel Tosfos that talk about this. Ve'izkiru devarim elu, harosh, and the Rosh also mentions it, v'aran, v'arashba.
Because the destruction is extremely threatening.
Torah Sabayis. Okay, and then he's going to go on, the Beis Yosef is going to go on to spell out this fundamental machloket of Tam Ke'ikr. He just now said Rashi, which is that there is no Tam Ke'ikr from the Torah's perspective, and everything would be right. And yet by min b'mino, according to Rashi, it's about the be'elef, feel be'elef about them. But by min b'she'enu mino, it's rov.
So let me just say one line is the teaser for the cliffhanger. V'zeh lashon harash. Uperish Rabbeinu Tam, the Tam Ke'ikr, the mean Shenumino Diraisa. The Kavan Shanasan Iser Tam, the Heter. You can't get away from the reality. It's not just Tom Kikar. So you have a problem with the formulation of having a rule, but it's reality. It puts a Tom into something. It gives an Easter Tom into the heter. Okay, that's it for our first day in Yoredea. So pick it up from here. And next time we're going to get through this because we're close to ending it. We go Bet Gimel and Daled for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Just finish Bet Gimel and Daled. Maybe hey. Okay. Yeshkoyach, everybody.
Oh,
Thank you.
Correct. Thank you.